This month on Connections. Our journey on the CTA begins in the heart of downtown and the site of Chicago's spectacular Millennium Park. Next, we'll board the Red Line at one of the CTA's newly rehabbed stations on our way to the far south side, and the story of a new bus route tailor-made for a growing segment of Chicago's workforce. As we make our way to one of Chicago's best-kept secrets, Jackson Park, you'll meet a few special CTA employees who don't let anything get in the way of a job well done. Then it's on board a bus headed north, passing one of the country's premier convention facilities, McCormick Place. On our way to our last stop and the site of one of this summer's hottest tourist draws at the Art Institute of Chicago. Don't let summer pass you by. Now's the time to get out and enjoy Chicagoland on the CTA.
Glad you've joined us. I'm Dale Rivera. Welcome to Connections, where you can learn all about using the CTA in and around Chicago. The Millennium was one of those rare events in history we had the good fortune to witness. Now the memory of it will be with us for a lifetime with the official opening of Chicago's Millennium Park, our first stop.
With a grand celebration, Chicago's newest attraction opens to the public. Millennium Park received a warm welcome from Chicagoans celebrating the park's unveiling.
Ladies and gentlemen, let the music begin.
Millennium Park was built where little more than train tracks run. The tracks, owned by the Illinois Central Railroad, run underground, serving Metra and South Shore rail lines. With the dawning of the millennium, the city of Chicago began to transform the land above the tracks into the dream of Millennium Park with the help of generous donations.
I think people will be very excited that when they have friends and relatives coming to visit them, that they have something like this to show them and to be so proud of and to enjoy this park that's free to the public and the programming that's going to be offered here.
Millennium Park's new theaters, sculptures, gardens, and facilities are world-class, and they offer something for everyone. Two of the park's highlights, the J. Pritzker Pavilion and the BP Pedestrian Bridge, were designed by renowned architect Frank Gehry. The pavilion's bold design is an architectural masterpiece which supports a sound system that sits high above the audience.
People know that Chicago is an architecturally remarkable city, and so this is another reason, a huge reason for people to come to Chicago and enjoy the park and everything else that Chicago offers.
Two pieces of public art have been constructed for passers-by to enjoy. The Millennium Fountain by artist Jaume Plensa with its dramatic images of Chicagoans, and the 100-ton seamless sculpture named Cloudgate by artist Anish Kapoor. Visitors may also find themselves enjoying a performance at the Harris Theater for Music and Dance or admiring the Millennium Monument in Wrigley Square. Deemed as the gateway to the park, the peristyle is a replica of one built here in 1917, but later torn down in 1953. The Lurie Garden of Millennium Park is also unique and has been created to attract people year-round.
There'll be over 240 varieties of perennial plants. It'll be a really great experience all year round. It's meant to be a garden that brings people there even in the middle of winter.
But that isn't the only winter attraction. The Millennium Park's ice skating rink at McCormick Tribune Plaza with its Park Cafe and the Park Grill have already been attracting Chicagoans for the past few years. So on your next trip downtown, be sure to check out Millennium Park. And remember, you can get there with ease on the CTA. Here's how. Millennium Park is open every day of the week, so stop by and take a stroll through Chicago's tribute to the Millennium.
We're heading to the Red Line, going southbound. about to pass through a rail station regular CTA customers may not recognize. That's because the Jackson Station has been renovated top to bottom, thanks to the Chicago Department of Transportation. It's just one way the city and the CTA help keep customer commutes on track.
Hop off and on a train at Jackson Station, and you'll be in for a surprise. Jackson is the latest Red Line subway station to be completely renovated, courtesy of the Chicago Department of Transportation. And it now has all the style and amenities that CTA customers like Rand Kohler enjoy.
As you can see, the lighting that runs the length wasn't there before, so it's pretty dingy and dark. And this is like being in a brand new airline terminal.
The lighting is one of the first things you might notice while standing on the station's new platform. It's 5 times brighter than before.
When the system was built, this was the first use of fluorescent lights in a subway system back in the 1940s. So we've brought that up to 2004 efficiency.
You might also notice other sights and sounds at Jackson Station. For instance, it's now a little quieter. New acoustical panels have been mounted to the subway walls to buffer the sound of trains arriving and departing. Jackson Station's 660-foot platform also has granite floors, state-of-the-art communications equipment, easy-to-read red line route signs, and even street finder signs.
Where down at the platform you can see these signs, and that's what the picture is up the street on State Street right above us.
The renovation of Jackson Station brought about the transformation of the Jackson Underground Pedway into a clean, bright tunnel. It serves customers transferring between the red and blue lines.
And through that, by our amenities and upgrading, we are giving the customer a feeling that it is safe, it is pleasant, and it's comfortable.
The design of Jackson's ceramic-tiled vaulted ceiling and walls depicting the Chicago skyline follow the same motif as both the Roosevelt and Chicago stations, which were also renovated in recent years. The overall goal of the Red Line subway project is to improve ridership, and so far, customers are pleased with the results.
Well, the customer response is very positive. They feel like we're forging ahead with technology. And that's what they want to see.
And customers will continue to be accommodated as work gets underway on the next Red Line station at Lake Street. To minimize the effect of the renovation on customers, all the construction will be done during weeknights and on weekends.
We're trying to do it in a timely fashion where it doesn't inconvenience our customers.
The Lake Street renovation involves not only upgrading the platform, but expanding the station's mezzanine level by 1,500 square feet, making room for more turnstiles, and improving the speed of the escalators by 25%. Along with the Chicago Department of Transportation, the CTA is making a ride along the Red Line subway and a walk through its stations, an experience that we'll all enjoy for years to come.
It's bright, it's illuminated, and it's a welcoming feeling for our customers.
We're getting on the Red Line heading south. If we took this all the way to the end of the line, we'd end up at the 95th Street station. There, CTA customers can board a new bus route created specially for those who work at a manufacturing campus on the city's far south side. The new X99 is keeping part of Chicago's workforce on the move.
As the X99 bus leaves the 95th Street station, it's headed down the road to opportunity. That's right, the route takes you to the new manufacturing campus on Chicago's southeast side, where 10 companies have moved in to supply auto parts for the nearby Ford Motor Company plant.
This is a great new project where the net creation is going to be about 1,200 new manufacturing jobs, not only good for that particular project, but helping to revitalize manufacturing in Chicago and on the southeast side.
More than 1,000 new jobs mean a lot of people need to get to work and home again each day. So the CTA was approached by the Mayor's Office of Workforce Development to create a new bus route to serve the area.
Up until now, there hasn't been a way other than private automobiles for individuals to get to the campus. Recently, the CTA started the X99 route, which is the new bus route that serves the Chicago manufacturing campus that will enable those 1,200 workers to use public transportation in order to reach those new jobs.
The X99 route will operate on an experimental basis for 6 months so the CTA can determine the best hours of operation and best way to serve this campus.
This route was chosen because it serves 95th Station and because it connects with a lot of the crosstown bus routes on the way to the campus.
The 95th Street station, which is at the southern end of the Red Line, is where the CTA's X99 buses originate. The station serves both bus and train customers.
It's a major transfer point in the CTA system. The Red Line comes here so people from all over the city can get to this point. And it's a very large bus transfer location. So many bus routes converge here and they can transfer to the X99.
The creation of this new bus route was a combined effort. The City of Chicago, the manufacturing companies, and the CTA worked together to develop a service to meet customer needs.
It's designed to meet their shift changes and get them back and forth to the terminal from the campus. I think it's a very good route. It's fast. There's limited stops along the way, and hopefully it will meet their needs.
So far, the X99 route appears to be working for everyone.
We're very happy that these 1,200 jobs that were created create the critical mass of people that allow the CTA to invest in this new service to that area. We also hope that this line will help inspire other businesses to move to the area now that that service is in place.
The X99 route is just another way the CTA is helping to support economic development in the region.
In the world of public transit, communication with customers is vital. That's why the CTA has a system in place designed to keep customers in the know about service changes, detours, anything that may affect their travel plans. All it takes is a little basic training.
When the CTA needs to get the word out, out comes a customer alert. You can spot customer alerts at train stations, bus stops, on the CTA's website, and of course on trains and buses themselves. They're posted to let customers know about service changes and improvements, as well as detours.
They're easy to identify because they have our CTA logo on it, and it'll state what the route is that might be affected, the date that it's affected, and the times also, and then it'll list in detail what our customers need to know to ride the service.
Construction is the main reason the CTA issues customer alerts on a weekly basis, as construction may change routes. But you may also see customer alerts posted for special events. The CTA's customer alerts include all the service information you need to know, including which routes are affected, the dates of the change, and any delays to bus and train service.
Of course, we want it to be accurate and concise enough because we know that they only have a limited amount of time in which to read something. So you have to read it, understand what's going on, and then still be able to use the system.
The CTA has found that posting customer alerts throughout the system is a useful way to spread the word on service changes or improvements.
Whenever they ride a bus or a train, to just make sure that they look up and notice the customer alerts.
Customers often keep an eye out for the alerts to find out about changes to their routes.
I think anytime they can let you know more information, it's better, because anytime you don't have information, that's when you get frustrated, and when you hear more information, then you're more ready to, go where you need to go.
If you're looking for more information on an alert, you can always call the CTA's customer service line at 1-888-YOUR-CTA. You can also log on to the CTA's website, www.transitchicago.com, and click Customer Alerts for the latest information from the CTA. Remember to look out for customer alerts to keep your journey on the CTA smooth and enjoyable.
We want to make sure at all times that the experience for our customers is a good one.
We're about halfway through our route, on our way to our last stop, the Art Institute. The CTA is proud of its workforce. They're men and women who work hard every day to live up to the CTA's motto of on-time, clean, safe, and friendly service. It's a diverse team made up of people from all walks of life.
Michael Novick, Michael Kartheiser, and David Kartheiser are truly an asset to the CTA. These employees are expert carpenters who happen to be hearing impaired, but that doesn't stand in their way. Each day they're working hard at crafting new CTA booths, cabinets, and doors.
I think it's important for people to realize that regardless of what their challenges are, that they can still be a productive worker in the workplace, and especially here at the CTA.
Michael Kartheiser is not only a skilled craftsman, he's also a skilled communicator.
Give people that and thing, or like been playing point, write down paper, show to teach people. Then over there, if that people write down, people write down, you really live.
Team leader Jim Halloran says he's fortunate to have such skilled carpenters on staff.
One thing about it is they are all very gifted craftsmen. They're very talented, and they just do a great job. They know their trade.
These CTA employees are good examples of how people with disabilities not only fit into the workplace, but also into an initiative by Mayor Daley to get more individuals with disabilities into the workforce. Along with 100 public and private agencies, the CTA is actively involved in hiring people with disabilities.
They're coming to the table with jobs to offer. And in fact, we've placed a few people with disabilities within the CTA.
The disability community is facing a 70% unemployment rate. But the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities is working to change this by directly linking employers with disability job training and placement services. The end result is good for everyone.
So CTA gets a great employee. The disability community gets to place somebody with a disability that's ready to go to work. And CTA and other employers like it because it reduces their recruitment, their placement, all the investment that goes into hiring somebody. We've just eliminated that for them.
Michael Novick says he enjoys being part of the CTA team. The CTA is also doing whatever is necessary to meet their employees' special needs.
What we do with these three gentlemen is we try to accommodate the workplace for their needs. We make sure we have a TTY phone for them so that they can communicate with anyone at home. But otherwise, we treat them just the same as any other carpenter.
By overcoming the challenge of being hearing impaired, all three of these CTA craftsmen are an inspiration not only to people with disabilities, but to us all.
Hard work and determination will bring you success in life, regardless of what the challenges are.
We're getting off at the Green Line's East 63rd Cottage Grove stop. From here, we're just a short bus ride away from a place where visitors are surrounded by serenity, tranquility, and history. If you have a free afternoon, think hard about visiting a place where you really don't have to think at all. Our destination? Jackson Park.
Located about 9 miles south of the Loop along the lakefront sits one of the city's most tranquil getaway spots, Jackson Park. It was designed in the late 1800s by renowned landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted, the same man who designed New York's Central Park. Today, over a century later, Jackson Park endures as one of Chicago's most popular natural and historic gems. For a look at this historic place, we met up with Tim Samuelson, a resident of the area, cultural historian for the Chicago Department of Cultural Affairs, and our tour guide for the day.
It's gorgeous. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, actually, you've probably heard about the Great World's Columbian Exposition. This is the one place you can really get an idea of what it must have looked like to people in 1893. This is the former arts building at the World's Fair that, of course, was redone as the Museum of Science and Industry.
Soon after the completion of the World's Columbian Exposition, the buildings were demolished, leaving only the former arts building. Other features were replicated years later, like the Republic sculpture of 1918. But a recent tale has sparked imaginations about the fair and its majestic location.
When people come to Chicago and they want me to take them around, they always say, take me to the site of the World's Fair, because there is the novel, The Devil in the White City, which seems like everybody's read. And part of the story tells about architect Daniel Burnham having the challenge of building this huge World's Fair almost virtually overnight. And so it takes place here, and it mentions the buildings and the site. So people come to town, they want to see where it happened.
For fans of nature, you'll find 253 reasons to come to Jackson Park. That's how many species of birds you can find here. And bird watchers flock here from all over the country. Adorned with binoculars and a field guide, Doug Anderson of the Chicago Audubon Society will show even novice bird watchers the best ways to identify and observe birds that migrate to the park. Birds like this rare Caspian tern or these barn swallows.
Birds like different kinds of habitat. And when you get a variety of different kinds of trees and shrubs and open space, as well as heavily wooded areas, that's what attracts a tremendous number of birds.
Doug leads his free tours April through December at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays and 8 a.m. on Saturdays, starting from the Darrow Bridge just south of the Museum of Science and Industry. Don't forget your binoculars. The natural landscape draws all sorts of wildlife and humans to this oasis within an oasis, the Osaka Garden on Wooded Island. Osaka, Japan is one of Chicago's 23 sister cities. The garden grew up around the former site of the Ho-Oden Pavilion, which was built by the Japanese government for the Columbian Exposition. Once you enter Osaka Garden's gate, be prepared to refresh your spirit.
One of the special feelings that you get from the Osaka Garden is almost a feeling of enchantment, a true oasis in the middle of a big city.
A Japanese garden isn't your typical garden either. It's designed to be explored with winding paths, areas for meditation, and symbolism galore.
There's a wonderful arched bridge that you are supposed to zigzag over so that perhaps if there are evil spirits following you, they don't make the zigzag and you would escape from the evil spirit. So there's many wondrous things.
The park and Osaka Garden are open to explore daily from dawn until dusk. Not too far removed from the nature of Jackson Park is a stunning example of the innovative residential architecture created just after the World's Fair.
We got the Jackson Park Highlands right near here, which is a designated Chicago landmark, and some really great houses. And actually the whole housing stock, even if you want to just kind of do an architectural tour, you can just wander around and really get an idea of what the neighborhoods are like during that period.
Anywhere you go today in Jackson Park, a link to the past is present. Back in the early 1900s, Chicagoans experienced everything from golf to sailing to swimming, and much of that recreational activity remains today.
You can play golf, you can go swimming, go to the water jets in the park, you can do lawn bowling. That's something you don't get an opportunity to do very often.
And of course, it's easy to get here on the CTA. Here's how. So the next time you want to get away, consider exploring the nature and history right here in the city, in Jackson Park.
I don't know of another place in the city or another park where you really can kind of get yourself lost. That's the best part of it, and really kind of get away from it all, and you're not going very far away from downtown.
We're taking the number 3 King Drive bus back north, and along the way we'll pass by McCormick Place, one of the busiest convention centers in the world. It's where people gather, ideas flow, and a number of CTA bus routes serve conventioneers and McCormick Place employees year-round.
The All Candy Expo is just one of the many treats found at McCormick Place. Chicago's premier convention center is the largest in North America, and recently it became Candyland as hundreds of candy makers from around the world gathered here to promote their sweets. Of course, the Candy Expo is just one of many shows held at McCormick Place. along with other big events like the restaurant show, the dog show, and of course, the Chicago Auto Show.
The auto show, it's our biggest consumer show. They come here every year. We have close to 1 million people in attendance for that show, so it's obviously our most popular show.
The idea of McCormick Place was first conceived in the 1940s by the former owner of the Chicago Tribune, Colonel Robert R. McCormick. Following a successful railroad exposition, McCormick saw the need for a permanent exhibition hall in Chicago. It wasn't until the 1960s that McCormick Place was built, and just 7 years after its construction, a fire destroyed the building. The lakeside building was quickly reconstructed by 1971, and McCormick Place has been expanding ever since. In the 1980s, a north building was added, and in the 1990s, a south building.
We are currently underway with our west expansion project, which we hope to complete by 2008. So currently we have about 2.2 million square feet of exhibition space and meeting room space, and we'll be adding another 750,000.
The Erie Crown Theater and Grand Concourse make McCormick Place even more attractive to big conventions and trade shows. But it isn't just about space. Visitors need other amenities, and McCormick Place has them. Like a hotel, which was built next door, or the food court, coffee shops and restaurants, not to mention the gift shops, a shoe shine parlor, a massage lounge, and a wireless internet cafe.
People like to come and open up their laptops, have a cappuccino, and do their work without having to hook up into a phone system.
With more than 3 million people coming to McCormick Place each year, its visitors also provide an economic boost to the city.
They eat in our restaurants, they shop in our stores, they spend money and help fund all the great programs that we need here.
Of course, you can step off a CTA bus and be at the front door of McCormick Place. Here are the routes that will take you there. So the next time you're going to check out the latest in lollipops or another event at McCormick Place, remember to hop on board the CTA.
The corner of Michigan and Monroe is a popular stop this summer among CTA bus customers who love art. That's because a major exhibit is on display right now at the Art Institute, our last stop.
If you're a fan of artist Georges Seurat, there's an exhibit this summer you won't want to miss. Seurat and the Making of Le Grand Jatte is on now through mid-September at the Art Institute of Chicago. The Art Institute was founded more than a century ago, and it ranks as one of the best museums in the nation and in the world.
We want people to have a personal experience with an original work of art. You really need to see the colors, the size and scale. You need to get an emotional response to what art can do to you.
So take a moment this summer to take in one of the city's finest attractions. And a perfect way to travel to the Art Institute of Chicago is on the CTA.
We'll tell you more about the Art Institute next month when we begin another adventure around Chicagoland. I'm Dale Rivera. See you in September on Connections.
For more information about the CTA or to use the RTA's trip planner, visit our website at www.transitchicago.com. Or for customer service matters, call 1-888-YOUR-CTA. For travel information, call the RTA at 836-7000 from anywhere in the Chicago area.